Hey everybody, Vicki Fitch here, your direct sales expert. I'm coming to you live from sunny Southern California, and you guys are involved in the Do You Need Extra Opportunity show. So thank you so much for being here. Guys, do me a favor and hit that share button. We got to make sure the message gets out and people know that we are here trying to help them through this COVID-19 situation and beyond to become the best version of themselves, right? This is your opportunity to find out, how can I excel during COVID-19? What can I do? How can I build my business? How can I build my brand? How can I expand my interests or my horizon or my expertise? This is your opportunity right here, right now on the Do You Neo show. Now, I am getting that message again that says they're having trouble posting to Facebook. So hopefully hopefully some of you guys can see it and, that you guys are here. As a matter of fact, if you guys could do me a favor and put a message in the chat box, if you can see that. Oh, hey, Rachel, welcome. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Yeah, we got people here. We are live streaming on 6 actually different platforms. So thanks for being here and hit that share button. Mr. Wonderful, welcome to the broadcast. Thanks for being here. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys some cool stuff. Lynette is in the house. Many of you guys know the drill, but while we're inviting people, hitting the share button, I'm going to start a little, part of our slide deck so you guys can remember some of the key things we need to do. And then, of course, in a little bit, I will introduce you to our guest. So let's talk a little bit about today. Do you guys know that there are special days all the time coming up, and they're important. And what we want to do is make sure that we are celebrating them. Now, this right here today is actually Be a Millionaire or Want to Be a Millionaire Day. I can't remember exactly how it's written, but today is Be a Millionaire Day or National. I don't know why this is not working. I don't know why I'm present. There we go. We got this going now. Okay, so it is National Be a Millionaire Day, right? And it's about wanting, whether we want to be a millionaire. And there's a good reason. Yes, I did forget to take that back. Some of you guys know I've had kind of a wicked crazy day. I actually my son is actually had to be admitted to the hospital today, but it's all good. He's been, those things he's been passing out. He is about to get everything fixed up and everything's going to be good to go. So I just wanted to let you guys know his dad is with him right now, because I know many of you are sending me messages right now. Didn't think I was going to be on tonight, but I am here and God is good. My kid's being taken care of, and I will be there as soon as this is over. Okay, so let's talk about today. Like I said, is National Be a Millionaire Day. And in a little bit, we're going to have our guest on, Mr. DarnellSelf, and he's a rags to riches story from moving on up from mall worker to millionaire maker. So why is that important? Now, many of you say, I don't want to earn a lot of money. It's all about the mission. Hey, I totally get you. And mission is key. But if you're not making money, it's a hobby, right? I mean, let's be honest. If you're not making money, it's a hobby. And none of us really want to just do it for a hobby. We want to make money. We're usually just afraid. Now that you guys are kind of starting to come in, and again, hit that share button, because remember, you get entries into the drawing for each time you hit the share button. If you guys, we also have opportunities for you to win the grand prize. So I need you guys to put winner in the chat box right now. So you can, so the girls, my team is in the back. They're making sure to tally up your, how many votes that you have, how many entries you have into the drawing, and making sure that if you are here for all 12 sessions, that's one of the ways you can win a grand prize. And then we have another way as well. And it's based on your shares and your comments and your participation and all the wonderful things that happen. And you guys know we have prizes every week. So we're going to be giving out some prizes in just a little bit. Excuse me. I apologize. I got a little frog in my throat. Kind of been, like I said, a busy day. So make sure you put winner in the chat box. I'm going to check on some of your comments to make sure we got them all covered. Yes, and if you guys have not registered yet, registration is not required for you to be here. But if you're registered, we actually do a drawing every week just on registered guests. You guys get some inside info. You get reminders and stuff like that. Rachel is here. Excellent. Patty's here. Jeannie's here. Let's see who else we got going on here. Stacy Lynn's here. Welcome to the broadcast, guys. Appreciate you. Melanie's here. Mark's here, Rebecca's here. So welcome, guys. And thank you again for participating. You guys are awesome. I see that. And make sure, if you know people that need to be here, be sure to tag them. That's another way for you guys to get some entries into the drawing. All right. So Our product sponsor of the day is NeoPro. You know, it is an award-winning probiotic, and I want you to know there's a lot of research. I went and did some research on this for a recent blog post we've done that identified the difference in the industry on National Honesty Day and what people kind of support as what's really a healthy probiotic and what isn't. I've been taking this for a couple months now. I've really appreciated it, and I think I got my system moving and grooving in a good way. So that's our product sponsor for the night. And we are going to be giving away some Neo Pro to you guys. So the probiotic to get your system moving and grooving and keep you healthy. Hey, Sirius. Hey, Marsha. Welcome to the broadcast. Thanks for being here. And today we're going to talk about, as we do each week, like book club, we're still doing Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits is a great book because you getting in good habits is one of the ways to help you change the direction you're going. If your finances aren't in the right direction, if your leadership is not in the right direction, if your family life, you know, here in the Do You Neo program, as you guys know, we have an amazing sponsor called Neogenics, and Neogenics is trying to help you with the 4 areas of emotionally, mentally, physically, and financially helping you through COVID-19 and beyond. And so creating some good habits in this time is going to be one of the best ways you can make sure that you continue that trajectory in the positive after this stuff is over, because a lot of people, as you know, are sleeping right now. They're taking naps, they're sleeping in late, they're doing all kinds of stuff that is not the way for you to actually excel. I mean, I'm just saying, hey, maybe some of you need a break and that's totally fine. But if you really want to make it, if you really want to start delivering value, making money, and seeing a change not only in your life, but in the lives of people that you work with or your team members, you got to put in some good habits. You got to start delivering value to yourself each and every day. You have to start reading and processing. And maybe for me, I read, but I also listen to books on tape, because it fills those nooks and crannies when I'm driving, when I'm doing my hair, when I'm, doing laundry, whatever I'm doing. I've always got something going that's positive, that's filling my mind either with an idea, a new thought, an opportunity for me to, kind of expand my mind and expand those opportunities. And let me check on you guys in the quotes here really quick. It's one of the books on your list to read. Rebecca, I highly recommend it. I really do. Patty says she loves it. I'm doing well on NeoPro, says Lynette. Fantastic. Yes, I love it. You guys are amazing. And this is, like I said, this is what we do. I was going to switch some of the books out for you. I was going to switch, but I thought, well, some of you aren't going to get there. But at the end, I'm going to give you a whole reading list. And by the way, I can pop, as a matter of fact, honey, if you would pop in the chat box for me, the link to the book club books on Amazon. That way people can see a bunch of the other books that we recommend as well. And some of them I've put little in there of what I really liked about them, that kind of stuff. Yes, I see Stephanie put winner in there too. Anytime you guys pop in, put winner in there and make sure you tag people want to be here, because we want to make sure that they get in on those drawings too, because you've got to have these products. We're trying to work on getting healthy, right? Boosting our immune system, trying to take care of ourselves. And we don't want to have that, we talked about the quarantine 15. We got to start working it out right now, because many of us are ready, right? I don't know if our states are ready yet, but we're ready to bust loose. So at least bust loose virtually and start building your mind and getting your business and stuff in alignment. All right. So again, I told you today is National Be a Millionaire Day. And I love what Jim Rohn said about it. Because again, I know many of you are saying, I'm not in this for the money. I'm not doing my side hustle for the money. I'm doing it. And I say this a little bit tongue in cheek when I'm pretending, we all do that sometimes. It's okay. You're still virtuous if you want to make money. I mean, I want to make money. I'm an entrepreneur. If I didn't make money, I couldn't support my family. If I didn't make money, I wouldn't have built a career, and I wouldn't have been able to build the skill set I've built by learning how to sell and schedule and recruit and share and learn about technology and how to do graphics. I've learned things because I wanted to grow, right? And so Jim Rohn says, become a millionaire, not for the $1 million. And hold on to this, people. And just this will help those of you who are struggling with actually admitting you want to make money, but it'll also help on a deeper level those of you who recognize the true value in this statement. Become a millionaire, not for the $1 million, but for what it will make of you to achieve it. Now, that's deep. It's heavy. And if you don't know it's heavy, you need to read that again. Become a millionaire, not for the $1 million, but for what it will make of you to achieve it. So, again, if you haven't taken a snapshot of that, feel free to do it, because the point is that you want to help yourself to become the best version of yourself. If you have $1 million, there's lots of people that have won the lottery, right? As a matter of fact, we used to have a neighbor that won the lottery. And unfortunately, that didn't go so well for them. They blew through, I don't know, $26 million way too quickly. And so if you don't become something, I'm not saying there's a problem with you winning money. I'm saying, but if you haven't become something on the way, you won't know what to do with it when you have it. Now, like I said, put a 1 in the chat box if you guys are getting me, right? Put a 1 in the chat box if you're catching my vibe here. Ernie, welcome to the broadcast. I haven't seen you for a while. Thank you for being here. Thank you for posting the book reads there, and listening while you drive. Patty is fantastic. But I saw Jeannie. Be careful. Absolutely, be careful. Just listen. Don't put the ones in the chat box, and don't do that. Have a passenger do that for you. But thank you so much for being here. Rebecca says truth. Stephanie's, yes, 1. Rebecca says 1. Lynette says 1. It's okay for us to be the best version of ourselves. And Rachel said it's okay to admit you want to make money, right, people? This is absolutely true. And she also, I think money is a good thing. It's an avenue to what you want. Eliminate the stigma of having money and making money from a side hustle. If you're worried about it, then this talk we're about to have is going to be really good for you, because I want to help set you free. Okay. And again, if you haven't hit that share button, please hit the share button if you're finding value here, or if you know someone else that needs to learn how to embrace becoming the best version of yourself and recognizing it is okay to make money. If you don't make money, then you can't support yourself. If you can't support yourself, then you can't continue to do what you're doing, and you can't serve the customers that you're serving. So recognizing that making money is not a shame or a sin, it's actually a beautiful benefit. When you become an expert, or when you become someone who's engaged in whatever business you're doing, people appreciate your expertise. They appreciate being able to go to someone who really does understand what they need to do, right? And so recognize that being a millionaire is really cool. It shouldn't be something that you're ashamed of. You also doesn't have to change your attitude. Remember, they say that money itself amplifies the person that you are inside, right? So if you have no money and you're an angry person, it amplifies that anger. If you have no money and you're a nice person, it's okay. You're just who you are. But as you get more money, it either amplifies that beautiful person inside, or that negative or angry person inside, the insecure one. Because we all know those wealthy people who throw their money around, right? And make sure that they have it. I just recognize that they haven't learned how to have their own value yet. They haven't learned to really establish their own value with or without money. And so, Be a Millionaire Day is the perfect day for us to be, launching this topic of with Darnell and that kind of stuff. And it's a perfect day for me to start to talk to you about some things that that people struggle with. Okay, so let's have this little heart to heart here. And I see there, my husband's on the show, and he said, "Love you." Thanks, babe. It's nice to see you here. Kathy says you do have to become on the way to wealth. You do. You have to become someone different, unless you win the lottery. And then again, in order to retain it, you have to become someone new, or to establish who you are and save yourself. Save yourself from yourself, right? No shame in it. Money enables the next level ability to serve and give. And it should be. But let's admit this, and you don't have to put a number in the chat box or say it out loud, but let's admit that there's either been a time in your life where you felt it, or someone who felt it, where you were selling a product or service, no matter if you're in a direct sales business, or, we used to have a construction company, we've had lots of different businesses, where all of a sudden you felt like, or someone said something about you, like hawking your wares, like, oh, you just want to sell me something, or you were afraid that's what they thought, right? That happens to us. And we're so worried about what other people will think that we do what I call backpedal. We backpedal so fast that sometimes people have to tackle us in order for us to actually do something. Sorry, I'm trying to bring myself up because I want to have a heart to heart with you guys right now, right? And I see Gail says, preach, girl. That's right. We got to preach it, because if somebody's not telling you that you should be proud of what you do and proud that you make money doing what you do, how many people do you really value their expertise if they're not making money in the area that you're valuing their expertise in? If they're not making money, it doesn't seem like they're really an expert. Experts tend to make money. That's just, you guys get where I'm going. And if you guys disagree, pop it in the chat and let's have a conversation about it. And Neogenic says, no shame in being enabled to give and serve without limits. Because I have to tell you, that's one of my big passions, is to be able to give, right? I love, we're starting our charity this year, Headspace Heroes Inc. And it's designed for us to be able to give to people who are struggling. And so it's designed to help people pick them up when they're struggling and set them either in a place to live, with clothing and food. It's designed to help them get a fresh start and move forward, because that's, there's a place in all of our hearts that we want to give to other people. And that's something we want to do. I can't do that if I don't make money. If I don't make enough money to pay my own bills, I can't get, it's hard to give away a lot, right? It's hard for me to give a house or purchase homes or rentals to allow people to live in for free. It's hard to do that if you don't have the resources. And even in the Bible, Jesus talked about that, right? Is that he didn't want money lenders in the church, but he wanted people to be profitable. Look at the parable of the talents, and again, if you're not familiar with it, these people were all given a certain amount of money, and some people invested it and it grew, and some people stuck it in the dirt and just left it there so they wouldn't lose it. Well, being an entrepreneur, it means investing it in yourself, right? Investing it so you can become profitable. All right. So as we go back here, so I want to help you guys to understand why we feel the way we do, right? Why, before we bring Darnell on, let's kind of prep ourselves and say, why do we do that? Why is it that we can tell a friend, if we just found this new set of facial stuff that absolutely is making our skin glow, or this perfect makeup, or these clothes, those jeans that look perfect on us, whatever it is, we can tell the world about it. Oh my gosh, girl, you have got to get this. Or I just got this new, I'm doing this nutrition program. Or I did this weight loss program, or I used these supplies, or I did this. And we shout it from the rooftops, right? Put a 5 in the chat box if you know what I'm talking about. We will shout it from the rooftops when we are super excited. I'm not getting video. Can you guys see me? Okay. Can everybody see me? Let's see. Let me know if you guys can see me okay. I think you should be able to, but okay, awesome. All right, thanks guys. So we will shout it from the rooftops if we're proud of something, excited about something, or people have to know. And then the moment we become a representative, for that company, or we join that team or whatever it is, and all of a sudden, instead of telling everybody about this full line of products that has changed our life, we all of a sudden have a little sample, and we're like, oh, well, here, just try this. Just let me know, call me. And we're running away, backpedaling so fast. Why? It is fear. We've talked about fear before, and I told you fear is a 4-letter F word, right? It's a 4-letter F word that we should not be letting live in our headspace, right? Because fear doesn't serve you. Why can we tell someone about the product or service until they're interested in it? And then we run away because we're afraid that they are going to believe that we only want something from them. And that is you. Okay. I want you guys to hear me. That's you. That's this space right up here telling you a big fat lie. Now I want you to hold on, pull up your bootstraps. It's a lie. The fact is that you should tell people about what you like, about products and services that you like, because that's being a friend, right? When we're friends, we share. So when you deliver information to people about products or services you like, you should never start backpedaling when you end up being the representative. If you're afraid to sell, right, then you will be afraid to make money, and you won't know what to do with it when you have it. Unless you're winning the lottery, and then you feel like that there's no judgment attached to it. But if you're feeling that way, you're going to allow judgment to eat you away, because judgment is a bully that's hanging out in your headspace too. What you need to do is replace it with headspace heroes: confidence, courage, empathy, peace, joy, love. Those things, when we fill our head with those things, then we change our perspective, because, love says, I want to help you. Love says, I know something that will help you and I'm going to share it with you. Now, they have to buy it from someone. And I want you, and I've said pieces of this before. And so I really want you to hear me because this is something, it's a piece of gold that you guys can polish up and use for the rest of your life. Is that when you tell someone about something, you're serving them, right? You're sharing with them because you care about them. So when you're serving them, right, we're sharing to serve. Hold on. Here it comes, people. Instead of sell, you remove the fear. Okay. When you're sharing to serve, instead of sell, you remove the fear. Are you with me? Can I have a 6 if you guys got that? If you're sharing to serve, instead of sell, you remove the fear. Okay. So now you just have to remember that you're serving, when you share that, the serving is what you're doing, but they have to purchase it from somewhere. Most people would prefer to purchase it from a friend that they can watch the benefits of how the growth will happen in their friends' finances or in their family. They're thrilled to have you participate in that. They're thrilled to go, oh my gosh, I could buy something from my friend. I can reorder from my friend, especially one that's becoming an expert in their area. And you can call them and say, hey, I tried this product and I did this and I had this trouble, or I was wondering, could this do this? They connect with you, they reach you on another level. And so they start to tell their other friends, oh my gosh, I was having this issue or I was afraid of this product, or I didn't know what to do. And my friend told me, and they deliver your information and they start handing out referrals. Because if you're afraid to sell, then you're afraid to actually help your friend. And I want you to think about that, right? Because you will yell it from the rooftops, and you would even be the catalyst if they said, oh yeah, Mary's got the product. She's going to drop it off at my house. Just give me the money and I'll give it to her. We ain't got any problem with that either, do we? Tell me. Put a 7 in the chat box if you know what I'm saying. Oh yeah, I'll be the conduit for the money. I'll be the conduit because there's no judgment attached, because you won't be afraid that I'm trying to take advantage of you, right? So it's your fear that stops you from serving. It stops you from actually providing an income for yourself. We throw out samples and let me know what you think. And we're expecting people to be so ecstatic that they will trample over other people to make sure that they get our product or service. But let's face it, none of us are really like that usually. I mean, unless it truly is a miracle product, or it's one of those toys at Christmas that everybody's tackling everybody because their kid needs it. People don't do that. They wait for you to ask, and they wait to create a relationship. They're creating a relationship with you. So when you ask questions and say, have you ever tried such and such? This product or service. Today we're talking, the product of the day is NeoPro, for instance. Now, most people don't just talk about their gut health with anybody. Women, we tend to talk about it if it comes up in a conversation, we tend to get right in there and share, don't we? Put an 8 in the chat box. You guys might not do this, but I'm telling you, us girls do. Like, oh my gosh, sweetie, I'm so sorry. I'm just sitting right here and I heard you, and I just wanted to tell you that I had that same thing going, or my friend did, and we use this. Do we not do this? Come on. Can I get some 8s? Because I know I've done that. The Gail says she's done that. Thank you. Right? We do have to get outside ourselves, right? Gut health is sexy if we make it sexy. But if we're afraid of it, then we can make it something that's embarrassing, right? But it's not. And when we change our perspective, we can turn things around. We can turn our financial situation around. We can turn that opportunity around and say, I got this, right? This is my opportunity to change my own life, because I'm changing other people's lives. If I am committed to serving you and to helping you become the best version of yourself, whatever that means, whether it's health oriented or, like I said, clothes, or we can pick a myriad of topics. Then if I'm committed to being your friend, and let's face it, most of us, when we're selling, we become friendly with other people. Rachel says, yes, us girls will share. We share. So why are we afraid? We're not afraid to share with a perfect stranger who might be in line and we think we can help her. So why are we afraid to let her know that we can actually complete that entire transaction for her? Why are we afraid? Because we doubt ourselves. Remember I told you guys before, fear, doubt, and shame are the big 3 bullies. We're afraid they're going to judge us, right? We doubt that they'll believe in us or recognize our value, right? And we feel shame if we've maybe failed in the past or done something we didn't feel like was good. And so those three things hold us back from actually delivering incredible value and incredible opportunity to other people. What if you hear people all the time that say, I'm so desperate for money? Like right now, people are struggling. I mean, can I have a 9 in the chat box if you know anybody who's struggling? It doesn't have to be you, but you know anybody who's struggling. I put a 9 in the chat box. And let's see, fear is a thief and a liar. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love what Brene Brown says. She says shame is a liar and a story stealer. Like that is like a truth bomb right there. Shame is a liar and a story stealer. And we have to stop shame from stopping us from becoming the best we can be. Shame is not to be tolerated anymore. Shame needs to be kicked to the curb, right? Evict the bully in your head. And if you have not read that book of mine, you need to read it. I'm just telling you right now, it's a life changer because you start to go, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Thank you, Deanne. Thankful for the girls and girls run the world. You know what? Girls do. We have so much input and we create so much impact in the world because we're not afraid to share, because we're not afraid to stand together. But many of us are afraid to stand alone. We're afraid that we're the only one out there and people are going to judge us and they're going to say, oh, she's just trying to sell something, or, oh, she's in that pyramid scheme, or she's doing this, or what's she doing now, right? So sometimes we let that fear, that doubt, or that shame. Maybe you've tried some other side hustles before and they didn't go so good, all right? Hey, Colonel Sanders filed bankruptcy, I think, what was it, 4 or 6 times or something before he finally made it. So can we just kick shame to the curb? Can we just agree to do that? Can I get a 10 in the chat box if you guys are willing to kick fear, doubt, and shame to the curb and say, you know what, you are not serving me well, right? You are not serving me well. Now, Tom, real quick, we have a little trolling going on. Tom, you're not usually a troll. So can we just bring this back around, my friend, to this conversation? Like just kind of focus in on here where we're trying to help people become the best version of themselves, because that's really not helpful. Rachel says 10, Jeannie says 10, Terry says 10, Gail says 10. Exactly, right? And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to change the world. We need to become the best version of ourselves. We need to go, okay, I got this, and I'm ready to make a difference. I'm ready to change the world because I'm worth it, right? We need to kick those bullies to the curb and start recognizing our own darn value, okay? Because I believe in you guys, and I know you've been feeling afraid, right? I'm getting on my soapbox right now because our guest isn't in the back room yet, and I'm really hoping that he didn't get the impression because of, the post earlier that my son was in the hospital that we weren't doing tonight. Honey, if you can maybe reach out and make sure he knows we're still on, I would appreciate that. That would be awesome. I know, yeah, there you go, Rachel. I gotcha. But and if he's not, girls, I'm gonna preach it. I'm just gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna bring it home because I'm gonna dive deep into some other issues where you guys are struggling. But since we're talking about National Be a Millionaire Day, then let's just ask this. Okay, here we go. Be bold, people. Would you like to be a millionaire? Put a 1 in the chat box if you want to be a millionaire. This means don't have any shame about how much money you have. You can do great things when you have money. Don't be a martyr. Don't be the person that says, no, I'm only in it for, be in it for the mission. Make the $1 million and give it away if you want. But then stop hiding behind the excuse that says, I don't want any money. Like, we all want some. I'm not saying you want to be a billionaire, but I wouldn't mind. I would not mind being a billionaire. I'm just saying I could do some major fun stuff with that, right? I don't need money. I'm not that girl that's like, I got to have money. I got to have the best of everything. I'm just not that girl, right? But man, do I love to give it away. Man, do I love to bless other people. Man, do I love to, make things exciting and fantastic. So, put a 1 there. So I got 3, 4, 5 people, that said, yeah, I do want to be a millionaire, and I'm not ashamed about it. And Rachel says, #no shame about how much money you have. And that goes either way, Rachel. That goes either way, because how much money you have has nothing to do with your value as a person. Okay, people, I want you to hold on to this because this is also an evict the bully in your head. That your external circumstances, your finances, your looks, your weight, all of those things have nothing to do with your internal value. All right. Now just hold on to that one for a minute. Your external circumstances have nothing to do with your internal value. So no matter what other people say, no matter what they do, you have the opportunity to be you. You got an opportunity to be the best version of you. You have the opportunity to make $1 million. You have the opportunity to turn, a $5 investment into 500, 5,000, 500,000, or 5 million, because you have to believe in yourself. You have to recognize your value, that you can do whatever you want to do. But we can't backpedal anymore. All right. No more backpedaling. And I see our guest has popped into the back room. So in a minute, I'm going to introduce you to Mr. DarnellSelf. But as we're wrapping this portion up, as we're talking about, again, it's National Be a Millionaire Day. And we have just kicked the fear of bully, or the bully of fear, to the curb, right? And said, I'm not afraid anymore to admit I'd like to be a millionaire. I'm not afraid anymore to say, yes, I want that, because I am allowed to make as much money as I want to. And I'm not going to allow those people who want to be a martyr or want to pretend they don't want any money to try and use it as a bully against me. Because my internal value, right, has nothing to do with my external circumstances. And it has nothing to do with the abilities that I have to become the best version of me. And, we talked in a minute ago about Jim Rohn's quote, right? Is that we want to make the $1 million for what it makes, for what we become, not for the money, but for what we become, the change we make as a person. And as our abilities change, so will the opportunity to make money and our referral base, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? So are you guys with me? Are you with me? Because I want a 2 in the chat box if you guys are with me and you're ready for me to introduce our absolutely fabulous guest. So I'm going to check those things out here. That's right. Money and all the externals have nothing to do with your value. Boom, girlfriend. That's exactly right. We have the privilege of believing for others until they can believe in themselves. That's what direct sales is about. Right? We do believe in other people until they are able to take those reins and believe in themselves. And then we end up being the wind beneath their wings afterwards when they take flight. It is a gift. Hello. How are you guys? It's so nice to meet you. Thank you, Gail, for being here. You guys, we are live streaming on 6 platforms right now. So we thank you, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, wherever you are. We are so happy that you guys are here. So thank you for being part of our tribe. And if you guys haven't, really quick, I'm going to make sure, if you have not, this was the quote right here. If you have not yet, seen what we've got here, you can take a screenshot of that. Become a millionaire, not for the $1 million, but for what it will make of you to achieve. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit, and remember about your questions. Put the winner in the chat box if you guys want to be one of the people that can win this grand prize at the end of our 12 weeks here. But this right here is Mr. DarnellSelf. Now, there's tons of things that we could say about Darnell, but Darnell actually went, and I hope he's going to tell you this story, or I'm going to prod him to tell a little bit of it. But, our thing today was he went from mall worker to millionaire maker. And so he's not just become a millionaire himself, but he's helped other people to become a millionaire in the direct sales industry as well. He is the principal and founder of Team New Vision, a CEO of Self-Defined Inc., and like I said, has earned millions of dollars himself. He is also with Legal Shield, and the opportunity of what he shares. And like I said, I'm gonna dig a little bit deep for him to share some of that stuff for you, because I want him to provide you hope. I know many, many, many of you are struggling right now with what's going on, and you can take a screenshot here if you want to follow him on some social media channels. But some of you are struggling, and he has gone through a real kind of rags to riches story. And again, the person he's become is so amazing. You're going to absolutely love being in the same room with this man. He is a rock solid citizen. And so without further ado, I want to introduce Mr. DarnellSelf. Darnell!
Hey, what's going on, Vicky Fitch, superstar?
Darnell, we are so excited that you're here. Today is National Be a Millionaire Day, I think, right? And so we were talking, as I just said, about Jim Rohn's quote about, we don't want to be millionaires for the money. The money's great, and we got to embrace it and recognize it, but we want to be it for what we become.
Yeah.
And you have such a fabulous story about that and how you've done it in direct sales. So I'd love if you'd share with these people, kind of inspire them, the people that are struggling, that people who struggle, they end up making it too.
Yeah, no doubt. And that, the thing is, I've made so many mistakes. I've overcome so many hurdles. And for those who I'm just meeting, they see me today, right? With all the accolades that you gave me, and I appreciate your overly kind words. And, the beautiful thing about the model I participate with is that you don't have to be perfect. I don't even strive for perfection. I strive for excellence. I know perfection just doesn't exist. And with me, if people really knew my background, they really knew the skills I brought to the table, they'd be inspired to make $1 million. Right. But there's no real video footage. There's one old VHS I have to turn into a DVD, Vicky, so you can see it. But it's me doing my first presentation. And I'm telling you, people would say, oh, my gosh, now I know I can do it. Right. But they're looking at the polished DarnellSelf, 20 years of presenting, 20 years of handling objections, 20 years of inspiring and leading and coaching and guiding and navigating and helping people to overcome. But that's not how I started. You're absolutely right. I started as a mall worker. I literally worked at the mall selling men's and women's clothing. And at 24 years old, I said to myself, no way am I going to do this for the rest of my life. And my wife was working at the mall too. And so we just decided we wanted something different. We had 2 kids at the time and we have 4 now. And so if you ever worked retail, or anyone who's watching this has ever worked retail, especially in the management capacity, 60 to 80 hours a week. Unfortunately, when people call in sick, you've got to go in. The weekends were the most important time, so I missed everything that happened on the weekends. And so I just said, no way am I going to do this for the rest of my life. And so I stepped out on faith here. Got something here. I stepped out on faith to become an entrepreneur. And so and it sounds like, oh, that's great, because people say, I'm an entrepreneur, I own my own business. Look, for 3.5 years, it was my season of preparation, I call it, Vicky. Mm-hmm. Right, so I went from 2 cars to 1 car and lost my last car. I didn't really lose it. When you lose something, you don't know where to find it. I knew where to find my car. It was at Toyota Motor Corporation parking lot, right? I just couldn't go get it. So that's not a prerequisite for success, right? People are like, oh, I've got to lose some stuff. No, you don't have to. But that's my story, right? And so I just felt like a failure. 28 years old, I borrowed money from my mom to stop my house from going into foreclosure. Mm-hmm. And so here I am at 28, no car. Mm-hmm. Borrow money from my mom, and I just felt I didn't have a college degree. I just felt like I'd be further along. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if any of your listeners or viewers ever felt like, man, I thought I'd be further along at this point. It doesn't matter what point, 50 years old, 28. It's just that if you've ever been to that place, you know what it does to your ego.
Yeah.
And it's damaging, right? Because as I heard you talk about, Vicky, when I first joined, it's these internal conversations, and we start to lower our own worth. Mm-hmm. Not that we're worth less, but we determine that our value is less.
Yes.
So that's where I was. And thank God for this industry, because I learned how to see myself as more, and I became more, then I attracted more. Mm-hmm. Right. And so that's what happened for me.
And I think that that's a key that we're trying to, we're right now, this show, the Do You Need Extra Opportunities. We're trying to help people that are, find that either that side hustle or something even to replace. Some people aren't going back to their jobs. Unfortunately, they're maybe they were struggling before, maybe they were successful before, but right now they recognize they got to find a way to make some money. And trying, like I said, they're doubting their skills. Some people have college degrees. Some people say, I don't, what? He says he has a college degree. I didn't have anything. But isn't that what we're kind of here about, Darnell, is it doesn't matter. Yep. It doesn't matter what you came from. It matters what you're willing to do, and that you educate and work towards it and listen to things like this and say, hey, how'd you do it? So share with them, what was the first part of how did you change from that mall worker? How did your mindset start to shift where you started to recognize your value? So these people who are depressed and discouraged can say, hey, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, no, great question. So two things I did to shift my thinking, right? Because it's called Think and Grow Rich, right? So you think differently, then you attract. My mother used to say it this way: if you know better, you ought to do better. I just didn't know better, right? And so how do you shift thinking a different way when perhaps our teachers, perhaps our parents, our friends have all taught us to think a certain way, unintentionally, right? It's these unintended consequences. And so 2 things I did. One, I shifted my associations. Now, I didn't disassociate with everybody, but I certainly limited my association with a lot of people. And that was important, because even my dad, who I love my dad dearly, but he kept saying things like, are you rich yet? You made a millionaire yet? Right? So I took it as negative. He was really being protective, but I took it as negative. And so that started damaging my mindset because I almost didn't want to talk to him because I felt like maybe he's right. You know, because late at night when you're not having the success that you desire yet in your life, those seeds start to find root, right? And so whatever's being planted throughout the day finds root. And so he was saying things like, "You're a millionaire yet? Are you sure? People at the top just making money off of you." And so when I wasn't having success, I started thinking, what if my dad is right? Right? And so, and the truth be told, he worked at the Metro, which is the DC transit system. I live in the Maryland, Washington, DC area. And so he drove the subway system, the train system, the buses. And after 30 years wasn't rich. And here I am after 3 months. He's like, "You're rich yet?" Right? so I get it. Right. And my dad, but here's my point in saying all of that. I chose, Vicky, to hang out with those who said things like, "I know you're going to do big things. I can't wait to hear about your testimony. Oh my gosh, a year from now, you're going to be someone special." And so guess what? Because that's what I put in, I started thinking they may be right. So see, whatever seed it is finds root. And I started thinking, yes, I can't wait. And so I started attracting that because every phone call was like, "Listen, I know I don't have a lot right now, but I just wanted to call you because the path I'm on, I see myself somewhere different." Tracy and I, my wife and I, see ourselves with tuition already paid for in our 529 account. We see ourselves being able to travel wherever we want. And listen, I just wanted to share. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to join anything. But so my vision spoke, even though I was still broke.
Yeah.
and so that's why I'm so grateful and so humbled that so many people, we've been blessed to have over 300,000 people follow us. And I was broke. So they wasn't following my money. People think, "Oh, you got to show a Ferrari. You got to show the big mansion." No, I didn't show any of that stuff. I made over $700,000 still living in the same house I built my business in, which is a house that cost $100,000. It wasn't some big mansion. And so my point is that it wasn't the house. It wasn't the cars. I didn't even have a car. Remember, my car was repossessed. But I started painting the picture of what people poured into me. And that's why so number one, association. I shifted my association. It wasn't easy. In my community, they call you a sellout when you stop hanging out with the same people. They were like, "Oh, you're just selling out." But my mentor said, "Darnell, sometimes you got to sell out to leave out to come back and help out." And so when I think about,
you better repeat that, Darnell, because that's deep and we need to write that down. So repeat that.
Yeah, my mentor said, sometimes, Darnell, you got to sell out in order to leave out to come back and help out.
That's awesome.
Right. And so when I think about what we've been able to do for our communities now, we've adopted villages in Haiti, the Dominican. We feed the homeless. They don't even know it comes from me. Right. And I think about all the families we help out and feed today, and they don't know our name because I don't do it for recognition. I won't even tell you guys. Right. Because that's not why I do it. Right. And so when I think about being able to leave out in order to make something bigger of myself, then come back, I was strong enough then to face those same giants and people and negative dream stealers. But in the beginning, I wasn't. I had to change my association. I just wasn't strong enough, Vicky. So now I'm going, it's like no one can talk me out of it now. Look, we already make millions and millions of dollars. So I had to leave out and come back. And now I can inspire the same people. And now I can, because a sale is nothing but a transfer of belief. It's not, people think it's, well, I'm not good at sales. If you believe, you can't help but transfer that. I don't care if it's religion. I don't care if it's a product. When you believe, no one can talk you out of it. So you just transfer your belief. But guess what? If you disbelieve, you transfer that too.
That's for sure. And I think that right there is one of the biggest things that we could share with people is identifying what your belief system is. When we doubt ourselves, I was talking, I think before you got here, what I call the big three bullies are fear, doubt, and shame. And when you've like your story, you had your car repossessed, that tends to make people feel shame. We're afraid that might happen again. We doubt ourselves. And when other people are doubting, those three bullies can attack us and pummel us and push us so far down that we get caught in what I call the depths of discouragement or the ocean of overwhelm. And we're just like, I can't do anything. And that's what I think COVID-19 has done for a lot of people is that they've, and people pull up your bootstraps because, I know this is going to hurt a few of you, but you're using it as an excuse. And you got to stop the excuse. I get times are tough. I totally do. And I am not doubting that for 1 second.
Yeah.
But here's a man that had his car repossessed. He's watching his car go away thinking, I got a college degree. I'm working at the mall and I just got my car repossessed. Things have to change, right? And the same right now, whatever you're in, things have to change. And that means your mindset has to change. You don't have to, right? Darnell, you could be in a tent and still work a business. You can figure it out, whether you are selling patch kits for the tents. I don't care what you're doing, right? We can be innovative and say, I'm not going to stay here. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to change. I'm not going to drown in the depths of discouragement, and I'm not going to let the ocean of overwhelm take me over. So I love that you're saying that, change your associations that start there, because you need somebody that's throwing you a life preserver instead of a freaking anchor, right?
Yep. And guess what? You are an association in this case. So when I say association, people are thinking, well, I don't have a lot of positive friends. Listen, it wasn't always people I knew personally. There were mentors that I listened to. And now it's easier. Back then I had to buy cassette tapes, right? But now you've got podcasts you can listen to. You've got opportunities like this, right, that we're doing right now. You've got YouTube. So you got all these opportunities now I didn't have. And so, and listen, what I don't want is to come across as insensitive, like it's not a painful place. I get it. Listen, there were times where I sat in the driveway, Vicki, and I didn't even want to come in the house because I didn't want my wife to see that I was weak. I didn't want my wife to worry because she would see how worried I was, because my car that I was taking was my wife's car. My car was already gone, right? And so my wife went out to go to work. She was still working. I was trying to get my entrepreneurial thing going. And she was the one supporting the family. She went out to go to work, and she came in screaming and crying. She was like, someone stole my car. And I'm like, yeah, I know that, right? And so that's the worst thing ever. And so it just made me feel like a failure as a husband, a failure as a man, a failure as a father, a failure as a son. And so I just don't want to come across like, oh, this is easy. Get yourself together. Right. It's tough. Man. You know what I mean? Like you said, it can become overwhelming. Yeah. There were days where I'm like, okay, God, how am I going to get through this day? So I just don't want it to seem like I did like this and everything changed. Right. I may not have changed my destiny right away, but I certainly could change the direction towards my destiny right away. You know what I mean? And so I just made a decision. You know what? I'm not heading that way anymore. I already know it's that way. I've been there. I've lived that. And I just can't go through the unknown of what could happen with my job. I've got to take control. I've got to take the driver's seat and take my own steering wheel and direct myself towards my legacy. So that first thing, you're right, was association. And then the second thing, so it was two things I did to change my mindset. One was association. The second thing was an investment in myself. And that investment was, paying for things. Like if you were to charge, if you were around, if I knew you back then, you said, hey, look, I can help you to think differently. And you said, hey, look, it's going to cost you $100, $300, whatever it was. So that's why I started investing in myself with people who I knew were thinking differently than me. I had to figure out, and I know it sounds crazy, but you're like, didn't you say you were broke? How do you invest? Well, listen, people still go to Starbucks and they're broke. People still go, right? People do stuff. You're like, I don't have any money, but then you look, you're like, well, how did you do that? You know what I mean? And so I gave up some of the other stuff so that I could invest in myself. And I even borrowed my wife's substitute teaching check. I know, to go to this convention where I can learn more. She was like, baby, you can't have it. We need this check. And I said, well, that's the reason why I've got to take this and invest in me learning more, because I'm tired of saying we need the check. I mean, that sounded good coming out, but it didn't work. Good. Then I was like, yeah, that felt good. Yeah, I'm tired of saying that's why we need the check, so we can stop saying we need it. And she was like, sorry, it's just not going to work. And
so how did you do it then?
Hey, that night, candlelight dinner, I cooked, I got the check.
Okay. You know what? Hey, and that's talking about putting your skills into action, right? You may not have this skill, but you got this skill.
That's right. I got the check. So I got the check, and then I invested in myself. And again, it was like our last bit. We were still owing money when I invested, but I realized I could not get myself out of that hole by digging in the hole. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so it was again not easy, but I did it. And the things I learned there, I applied. So it's one thing to say I'm gonna invest in myself and then don't apply it. No execution, right? Right. So, but I learned it, and I was like, all right, I'm putting these things into play. And a year later, my entire life had changed. But watch this: 3.5 years, I'd already started changing my direction. I already started reading Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends, Influence People, the John C. Maxwell books. I already started pouring in myself, but it was no change yet. No visible change. But I was changing for 3.5 years. And this is why it's funny when people are like, oh man, you made $1 million. No, they have no idea. I was in the lab, if you will, with people for 3.5 years, not going to the movies, not watching TV, not much, right? Just mostly during that same time that I would be doing that, I was investing in myself. And that's why when people see Tracy, my wife and I's lifestyle, they're like, oh my gosh, but they don't realize most people won't spend 3.5 years pouring into themselves with no real return.
Right.
But then a year later, because we had to find the right vehicle too, right? You got to change your environment, but you also have to have a vehicle. So we found the right vehicle we could be passionate about. And then a year later, everything had changed for us. I mean, literally, my wife, a year and a half later, walked away from her job at the cable station. And she was working at a cable station because we started making in a month, but she was making an entire year. And she was so hesitant because we've been broke before. And when you've been broke before, you're afraid that you go back. And so she was like, I'm not quitting. I don't care how much money you make. And I said, how much money would I need to make for you to quit? And because I knew if she was at home helping out with the kids, that I could do even more. With her support. So here's what she said. Because she said, if you ask her this question, Vicki, she'll tell you. She's like, I just gave you an amount I thought you never made so that I could keep my job. So she said, if you make it a month what I'm making an entire year, then I'll quit. And I was like, got it. Put it up on my dream board. And I went to work. And a year and a half later, I was making it in a month, but she was making an entire year. And then when she quit, we went up to double in 1 month what she was making in a year because of her support. I firmly believe in support because even though I'm the one that really drives the business, without her, we wouldn't have a business, right? And so when people give me all the accolades, you know, it really is a team effort because I wouldn't be able to focus on the things I focus on if she wasn't able to take care of, you know, our investments, some of the other things that she focuses on.
Absolutely. You know, I think I'm hearing an echo. You guys hearing that or is it just me? I'm getting love. It's hard. You know, it's hard to hear. It's hard to talk. Okay, there you go. I don't know. I think did you have the volume up? Because I'm hearing myself talk. Or maybe I'm going crazy. Now, that could have happened too.
It could have been me. Sorry. It could have been me. I get so excited. Sometimes I cause an echo in the place.
You know what? I love that. I love that about you because you know what? That's the energy. When we fill a room with energy, with positive energy, not the soul sucking, you know, feel sorry for me, my poor life. When we start to deliver that kind of value, then people start to recognize it and they do gravitate towards it. And I love the fact that you have a dream board. Like I'm a huge dream board fan. As a matter of fact, my husband, you know my husband Terry very well.
Yep.
And we have this huge wall up on the upstairs, and I got this hellacious size dream board, and I'm like, I want to put it on that wall as a dream board. And Terry's like, no, I don't want it. And I was like, no, I really do. I really want it. It's a cork board, but I really want it, you know, put this up there. So I haven't gotten it up yet, but I'm going to try that dinner thing that you told me about. I'm going to see if I can get that board because I want the whole family involved. You know, I do dream boards anyway, and I want the whole family involved because I think like what you're saying, the support system behind us, one of the chapters in Direct Selling 101 is getting your family on board the new business bus, right? Because that's the first place businesses die. When their family finds out about it, and then they're like, "What?" And then they go, "No, have you? Oh, you want to be a millionaire? Oh, you think you're going to do that? And oh, is that a pyramid scheme?" And that the list goes on. And then all of a sudden and all of a sudden they go off a cliff. And I didn't want to do that anyway. And so they steal their dreams. They rip them out from underneath people who all of a sudden. They have a thought and then it gets crushed beforehand. So dream boards and people like you that are saying, hey, yeah, I did. I started here. I'm here. And this is how I got there. And by being authentic, because you're being transparent and real, saying, yeah, I didn't have a mansion and a rented house to show and a sports car I leased to pretend I'm all rich.
Right.
But I just said, hey, this is me. I may not have nothing now, but you better get on this train because guess what? I'm going somewhere.
Yep.
You know, just get on board if you want to see things move. And I love that energy and that spirit because every time I've seen you, you always have that thing that says, I believe, I don't even know you and I believe in you. And that's, you can do it. So what message would you have for these people that are, like I said, they're building and looking for a side hustle. Some of them have joined companies. Some of them are still vacillating because they are afraid because they hear whoa, I don't want to be in the direct sales industry. Or I don't want to be, I don't want to do a side hustle because people think that you're not legit. What advice would you have for them and how that they could, get past that and recognize that, we talk about this internal value has nothing to do with their external circumstances. What advice do you give them to remove those fears and go for what they really believe in?
Yeah, and that's a great question, Vicki. And a couple of things. One, there's always some fear there, right? As talented as you may be, as skilled as you may be, there's always some nervousness for different reasons though, right? Some people because they feel like, I've never spoken in front of people before, right? And so if I have to do that, oh my gosh, I'd never be able to do it. And guess what? That was the worst thing for me to think that, you mean one day I'm gonna have to speak in front of a lot of people? Oh no, because I grew up with a lisp tongue, right? And so I got in trouble in the third grade. I'll never forget. Some things you'll never ever forget because I refused to read out loud because the kids teased me. And so, I'd rather be in trouble by my mom for not reading than to be teased by my peers. So I chose not to read, right? And just get in trouble. I was like the bad kid. I'm not reading because I'd rather, be known as that than to be teased by my friends. And so what I'm saying is that so that caused some nervousness when I got started with this industry, because they said, look, you're gonna have to present. And I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking back, like I was teased. And I remember even in college, communications was one of my majors, right? I graduated with a degree in PR, public relations. So it's part of communications. And so I had to actually do presentations in front of the room, Vicki. And I'll never forget, I had like index cards with me, and I couldn't even read them because I was shaking so much. And so I was shaking so much. I'm trying to read, and my mouth got all cotton, but it gets all dry. And I was like, I just felt like I was going to pass out. And guess what? I speak for a living now. Who would have thought?
Right.
You know what I mean? And so this is why I inspire people. I'm like, listen, don't worry about who you were yesterday.
Right.
People are like, that's not my personality. The wonderful thing about humans is we can change at any moment.
Yeah.
It's the WHY. It's what helps you and what hurts you. Right? And so what hurts you? What would hurt me is for my daughter to qualify to go to a certain school, but I couldn't afford to send her to that school. That would hurt me. She's like, Dad, guess what? I got into such and such. And I would be so happy, like, wow, you qualified to go, but I can't send you to go.
Right.
That would hurt me. So I thought about all the WHYs, the things that would hurt me. You know what I mean? Like, that would hurt me if this happened and I could not afford it. And so I had to have the fear of that outweigh the fear of me talking. You know what I mean? And so this fear of me talking was outweighed by this fear of me not being able to be there for Milan, my daughter. Right? And so I'm like, I'd rather speak and people laugh than me not be able to do this for Milan. Right? And so something's got to outweigh that fear. And you got to decide what it is. For me, it hurt to disappoint my wife. I'm like, she'll never, ever, ever have to worry about walking out the house again and someone taking our car. You know what I mean? I'm going to have so much liquidity. I'm going to have so much investments. That's why I didn't spend a lot. When I started making a lot of money, I refused to spend it because I know what it's like not to have. So I just kept it. People are like, you can't be making that kind of money. Look at your house. Look at your cars. I'm like, no, look at my cash, baby. You know what I'm saying? So it was so the WHY. So what hurts you and then what helps you? What motivates you? What makes you want to get up earlier in the morning? You know what I mean? What keeps you up late? You're like, my wife used to say, you cannot sleep. I'm like, I can't sleep. You know what I mean? It's the thing that I've just dreamed about. I was like, I used to see those huts over the water. And, I didn't even know where they were at the time. This is like 20 years ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to visit places like that. And so my point, the thing that motivated me, I was like, oh my gosh, that I want to do. And then I had, I'll end with this and turn it back over to you. There was a gentleman. It's the only person I ever met, Vicki, when I was working at a job, who was an entrepreneur. I didn't have entrepreneurs in my family. But this one gentleman, I happened to meet. He was the father figure of a friend of mine. And he took us all out to Cheesecake Factory. I'll never forget. I remember it like it was yesterday. And after we all ate, he's like, the server came. He's like, I'll take that. And I thought, hold on. He's going to pay for like all 10 of us? Like, this is a big deal for me because where I grew up, everybody's like counting up. They're putting out calculators. You know what I mean? I didn't have the salt and pepper. I didn't have the ketchup. Who ordered gratuity? I'm like, it's a tip, donut. You know what I mean? But, so people are really picking it apart. And then this guy just pays for it. I'm like, I would love, not for showing off, but like, no worries, guys. Right. It's just my way of giving back. I thought, And so that motivated me. I'm like, I would love to be in a position to just be able to say, I got that, right? And that's what we've been able to do. It's like surprise my mom with trips to Hawaii. Being able to be, you know what I mean? Just, tell him my dad gets treatments because of an illness he has. And be like, Dad, I'll take you to treatments 2 days a week. No worries. Our time together. And so that's what I'm saying. The opportunity to give back, to contribute more, that WHY would help. What motivated me? I'm like, I never know what tomorrow is, what tomorrow holds. But if I could be there for my family, if they ever needed me, that would make me feel good to know that my success is not just about cars and houses. Don't get me wrong, we like nice things, but it's about being in a position If money was the problem, we could solve it.
Yeah.
Right? If money was the problem, we could solve it. So that's what I would recommend people to really take time to reflect, Vicky, and what is my WHY? What is the thing that helps me to just want to go after this thing and forget my fear? Fear, take a back seat. Mm-hmm. And what's the thing that would hurt me? What's the thing that if I didn't go out and take this shot and deal with the naysayers and all the people like, oh, you're doing that thing, you know, this would hurt. Forget that. This would hurt me more than hearing from them. What's that thing?
Well, you know, and that I think that's awesome because there's a lot of stuff in the chat, and I just want you to know, you know, Darnell, thank you, you're fantastic. I like this guy. I'm in. You're inspiring these people.
That's so kind.
Yeah, but it's true, and I think the cool part about people that I always say there's in a Victable in Your Head, I talk about confidence and cockiness. They're twin brothers, right? And they look identical. But the way they act is completely different. And that's what people are afraid of. They're afraid that they'll look cocky instead of confident. And when they hear people like you that say, hey, I didn't know what I was doing in the beginning. I learned, and I didn't pretend I knew what I was doing. I didn't pretend I was all that, because cockiness is the one that makes sure everybody knows what he's done, you know, and confidence says, yeah, I'm so excited. I got to bless other people. Like I'm so excited to change your life that I can be the difference maker for you, and hope I inspire you to be the difference maker for someone else. Right? That's
what makes this all worth it for me. It's so gratifying at the end of the day to know that somehow, maybe directly or maybe indirectly, I've altered someone's destiny.
Yeah.
Not because I was so great, but because people shared great things with me. And as a sponge, I was able to rinse back out over people what was poured into me. So I'm just a conduit. That's all. It's not that Darnell's great. Someone shared great things with me, and now I get a chance to share those same things. I didn't make any of this up. This is my real story, and real people have shared wonderful things with me, and I get to share that experience with others. So it's humbling.
Yeah. You know, and that's what I think why people love listening to you talk, because it isn't the Darnell show. It's the inspiration show. And that like you said, as the conduit of what's come through you, because that's what people need right now. The world is struggling, you know, and there are certain people that aren't struggling. But if you look at the world as a whole, people struggle even if they just know someone who's struggling. It hurts. And like you said, if they don't have the financial wherewithal to fix that, they have to look for other things. And having that side hustle or a second income, especially one that can turn into your primary income, and it's something you love and gives you the freedom and flexibility, that's where life changes, is when you get to work for you. You know, earlier we were talking, here that like my son actually is in the hospital. Like Elijah actually had to be checked in. He's been having these weird fainting spells. And they told me before I left, because Terry's there with him right now, that, because he's not doing tests till later, that, he's going to have to be there a couple days. Well, when you're an entrepreneur, you can work your business from wherever you are. Yeah. You can continue to build relationships and show people, hey, that's what life is about. That's what life change. I don't have a boss telling me you can't go. I'm sorry, you're going to get fired. It's like, no, I can go. I can be where I need to be, like you, and needing to be there for Milan and being able to do this and being there for your dad. And, that's what we want to inspire people to recognize, because even if they lose their job, they don't have to find their security in other people. They need to recognize their value, because when we step up, we can make it, right? You cannot stop people who are on fire for whatever that mission is. And that's right. That's what we're inspiring these people for, is that whatever your mission, you got to find something you love, and then you share it with the world without being afraid. We don't shove it down people's throat, and we'll teach you how to, we'll teach you that stuff too. But we share, and that's what I love about you. Like I said, just the information that you've shared. You've told them your story. I went from this, now I'm here. I feel totally blessed, and I'm giving back right now. I want to share those pieces. I want to wring that sponge out over you and see if maybe you can catch some of it and wring it out over someone else.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that is super cool. Now we are going to do a Q&A in a minute. Are you willing to stay for another 15 minutes or so, Darnell? That's awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so
Our
we're
next call is in 25 minutes.
Okay, so we're going to just wrap it up in about 15. I got to do a couple gifts. These people get to win some prizes for being here today. If you guys have not hit the share button, knock that out of the park. Hit that share button for us, and put winner in the chat box if you're here and you were not here before, because we want to make sure that you guys have the opportunity to win some prizes. You know, our sponsor is Neogenics, and they are an incredible company out of Tennessee that decided that they wanted to make sure that people had an opportunity to figure out what they're doing. Whether you want to be part of Neogenics or another company, whether you just need the inspiration of the Do You Neo show, they're all about making sure that you remember that there are people there that are pulling for you. Okay, so put winner in the chat box, and let's do this. We're going to do a little prize patrol. So Darnell, I would like you to ask a question, something from what you just talked about, and the first person who puts it in the chat box is going to win our product of the day, which is called Neo Pro. So can you tell us one thing, or just, you tell them what you guys throw out the main, one of the things that you heard Darnell say, and that's what we'll do. Hold on. You guys throw out the most important thing you heard Darnell say today, and then he's going to not look at the chat, and he's going to tell me what it is, and the first person that puts that in there is going to go ahead and win. So you guys type that away, and if you haven't, really quick, because we know there's a little bit of a delay, so we want to make sure everybody gets a chance because we're on so many platforms that are rolling in here. Do that, and if you have not yet registered, remember, you can also win, because we're going to pick a registration in a minute that wins. doyouneo.com/register. If you guys haven't registered yet, go there real quick while you're on the show. Just put your name and information in. That way you get the reminders and stuff that's going on. And you also can win a something. Yeah, don't look at that chat box, because I don't want you seeing what they're putting, but there's the stuff's rolling in. So tell us, what is your favorite tip or favorite thing you've said today? Because the first person that said it in the chat or says it in the chat is going to win a prize.
All right, you want me to say it?
Yep, I want you to say it now because they're rolling in now.
Okay, identify your reason why.
Okay, identify your reason why. I heard somebody wrote, "What's my why?" And I think she's kind of on track there. And that would be Kathy Lanham. Kathy is a big participant here. Stacy said a sale is a transfer of belief. Very good, Stacy. Rachel said it's about being able to give back to others. You know what you know, cutie lady said. Michael says learning. You can't get out of a hole by digging in it. Change my associations. Take the steering wheel. So again, there was a ton of great responses there. But Kathy, you are the winner of Neo Pro today. And Darnell, I want you to pick a number from 1 to 36, because that's the registration numbers here. And then I'm going to pick the person from, hold on one sec. Whoops, another one's coming in really quick. I got to push it into that chat over there so we make sure everybody has a fair chance to win. So hold on. My computer is kind of freezing up there. Okay. Go ahead and pick a number from 1 to 30, actually 9. 1 to 39.
All right, 28.
28. And let's see, that would be Irv Fetterman. Irv Fetterman, I don't know if you are on the chat today, but if you are, you need to go to, can you guys pop it in the box for him? doyouneo.com/I1. You won a Neo Pro today, so congratulations. Thank you so much for registering, and thank you guys for being here. We want to make sure, again, if you haven't put winner in the box, put winner in there right now, because remember, if you guys are part of the all 12, you can win a grand prize that's up to $1,000. Nice. And what we're going to do is give you, like I said, if you guys remember, Neogenics is our sponsor here. I hope that you guys will go check out the Do You Neo page and check out the sponsor page so you can learn a little bit about them. They got specials that are going on right now, in case you want to get rid of that quarantine 15 we talked about. They got a really great program, including some free Neo Start, all natural products. Again, they have done amazing for my own health and Terry's health. So we really appreciate them. As a matter of fact, Darnell, we'll send you guys some as well as part of our program. I'll get your address afterwards and we'll send you guys some. And you guys, what we're going to do right now is the Q&A session. So I'd love for you guys to put your questions in the chat box. And I am going to go ahead and scroll through some of the things that you popped in here before. Someone asked, I'm not sure exactly what that means. did your family, I know, did your family know that you were struggling financially? I think maybe they mean the kids because they know your wife knew. So I'm not quite sure
Well,
what they meant.
yeah, no, I can answer that one.
Okay.
So, yes and no. I mean, yes, my wife knew that we obviously weren't we weren't able to pay our bills on time. She didn't know it was as bad as it was because I thought I'd be able to get us out of the hole before it got as bad as it did. My mom didn't know, and I'm the only child, by the way. I'm a mama's boy, love mom. And the worst thing was for me to disappoint her. And she found out that my house was in foreclosure because I didn't realize at the time that it was public knowledge. You know, it goes to the courthouse because they want to auction your home. So a friend of hers said, hey, I saw Darnell's address in the paper and his house is going up for auction. She was like, what? So she calls me. That's how my mom found out. And she was like, well, I'm retired, but I'll give you everything I have to save your home. And that made me feel like really bad. I mean, not so bad because I took it. I took the money.
Hope. But, that was called hope, Darnell.
Right. There you go. There you go. And so yes, people outside of that, no. Most folks, you know, cousins, folks like that didn't really know. But my wife, my kids, they were so young, you know, like we missed buying my oldest son a birthday cake when he was younger. But again, you know, before social media, you didn't know that you didn't have money. You just thought everybody celebrated birthdays without a cake. You're like, you don't know what you don't know. Right. Social media, of course, you're like, I want what they have. So that was a little different. So yes, my kids, you know, we didn't have a lot for them, but they were happy, right? Because we were there for them. So we couldn't buy them a lot of things. But of course, that's changed now, right? So we send them on mission trips now. They've been able to travel around the world with their passports. So things have changed now. But in the beginning, yeah, it was a struggle. But my kids, I sat them down and like you said in your book, I mean, I really just got to buy into my family. I said, hey guys, let me ask you this. If dad said right now we have to move to a 1-bedroom apartment and you guys didn't have any beds and we slept on the floor, would you love me less? And they were like, no, Dad, of course we love you the same. And I said, okay, that's all I need. That's all I need because I need your love. I need your support. And they need to know that no matter how much money we make, that's not going to be that's not going to dictate the amount of love that we have for one another. And they all agreed in our family meeting that, you know, we'd never let money determine how much we love each other. It would be unconditional. And so that, you know, so yes, my kids, 2 of them remember us not really having a lot of money. The other 2 were kind of born and we had already made millions when they were born.
Right. So they had that advantage.
Yeah.
One of the people's asking that I'm going to paraphrase because it's kind of long. Do you really believe direct sales anybody can do direct sales, or do you believe that you just had it in you? I think that's kind of paraphrased what they're saying.
Okay. That's actually a great question. It's a reasonable question to ask. I do believe that not everybody will be the person on stage inspiring everybody because not everybody even wants to be that person. Quite frankly. But I do believe that anybody can succeed. Now, it depends on how you define success because people define it differently. But if it means having some financial gain and by helping other people, yes, I do believe that anybody can have financial gain and generate additional income with direct sales. And here's the reason why. As long as it's a legit company, let's just say that first. Right? Because there are some companies, unfortunately, that are here today, gone tomorrow. Is really laundering money amongst family and friends. You get paid just to recruit people. There's no real product or service, no value. So let's just say that we're talking about only legit, authentic, real long-term companies. Right. And so, and if that's the case, then yes, because you can introduce your weakness. Right. And so I have a young lady. She still hasn't done a presentation yet. She's been around me for 20 years, but she's for her team to do amazing presentations. I mean, they are everything that she's not. And what she brings, though, is vulnerability. She's a mother figure. Like, oh, my gosh, so proud of you. And so she brings the recognition, the celebration, and people need that. Yeah. Celebrated. A lot of people aren't celebrated at home and they're celebrated at work. So she does bring that. But she doesn't bring the sales. You got to get out there, right? But people on her team do. And so because we're talking about team effort, together everyone achieves more, because we're talking about a team, right? Now everybody's going to be the quarterback, and that's okay. People are like, well, you know, do you think everybody has a shot at the NFL? Well, no. Everybody has a shot at direct sales? Sure. Because you got to have a certain skill to succeed in the NFL. And after 40, that's not, after 30, that's probably not happening. the thing I love here is that you can be 87, 81. I got a guy who's driven trucks all of his life, Vicky. He's never made it past the third grade, successful with our team. I've got folks who, you know what I mean? Every walk of life. I've got a guy who's 66 years old, ran a very successful business. I mean, I'm talking about presidential suite in Hong Kong. I mean, he would be what people would call you've made it in life, and then lost it all, right? And had to restart at 66. And for a lot of people, they're like, man, I can't, I'm too old. So my point is, I've got folks who started in their 60s and 70s. I've got folks who never had a formal education. So that's why, for me, I believe yes, because I've got an example that would dispel any myth that someone would say, well, I can't do it because I'm a single mom. I can't do it because whatever. You tell me one reason why you think you can't, I'll give you a reason and an example of someone who did it.
No, I think that's awesome. I mean, really, because that's what we have to, again, we have to remove the excuses and deal with whatever our problems are and our concerns are. And what I call the HCI, how can I? How can I? And because there's lots of, everybody's going to tell you can't, but my motto is don't tell me I can't do it till I've already done it. Then feel free to let me know, right? Because it's like, I don't want to hear your stuff. One more question, because I know you have to go. Michael says, what is the best way to determine if that is the best direct sales platform for you? Are you asking about which company, Mike? Or I'm not sure what he's saying, but.
So let me answer three things in regards to that. Like if someone right now is trying to figure out, okay, I think direct sales would be a great platform, a great opportunity, a vehicle for me. But I just don't know which one, right? So I'm not going to tell you which one, but I'll tell you how you can go through and kind of kick the tires and make a decision on what you feel is best, what type of company is best for you. So number one, I would say make sure it's a product you can believe in, even if you weren't making money.
Yep.
Right? So if you weren't making money, you would still own the product. If you say, look, I'm not really making money with it, so I'm going to stop ordering the product, then you really didn't believe in the product. It was just about making money. Right. So you got to ask yourself, would I own this if I wasn't making any money? Right. So that's number one.
It's a good question. It's a really good question.
Yeah. Because unfortunately, in most direct selling companies, people have an auto ship. It comes every month and they end up stocking up with like hundreds of bottles of whatever it is because they don't believe in enough to use it. So it's just, they'll even use it every day. Right? And they're like, oh, I got 80 bottles of that. That's because you're not using it. You don't believe in it. You just bought it because you just want to sample it to other people, but you're not using it.
Right.
So you gotta, I mean, really believe like, oh my gosh, everybody should have this. If you don't have, listen, 1% doubt and you're out. Yeah. You gotta believe it. Like,
wait, there's another piece of gold, people. 1% doubt and you're out. Write that down, honey. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's real, right? I mean, seriously, because the moment you doubt, there's no way you're going to succeed in that company because you're always thinking, I hope they don't use it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I hope they just buy it and forget to use it. Right?
Just order.
Yeah, just order. Don't use it because they're not going to be happy, right? So so number one, you got to believe in the product outside of the compensation plan.
Yep.
Number two, there has to be some examples of everyday people who are succeeding. Right. And here's my reason why. Not that you really have to have it, because you can be the example, by the way. Absolutely. Right. If there's not an example, be the example. But just be careful buying into hype. Right. Because we want to manage expectations. Right. Because sometimes there's some trickery. And I hate to say this because it's my own industry and I love my industry. I love this whole direct selling industry. But sometimes people kind of play games like, well, I did it. You can do it too. But they're not telling their whole story. Like they joined with a team of 1,000 people from day one. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that because they decide that company wasn't formed. This company is nothing. As long as they tell the truth. Right. I don't have a problem with that. As long as you say, hey, look, I have an advantage because I joined coming from experience in the industry and I already had 1,000 people month one. So I made $10,000. Don't make it seem like you made $10,000 a month if you didn't start like you're telling this person to start. Now that's fine if someone else has. Right. But so I just, I want to make sure you manage. So make sure that whatever stories are out there, you ask the right questions. Like, hey, look, is there anybody who started just like me? Right? Fresh, maybe no experience, maybe scared. Who's that person? Right. They're like, well, I don't know that person. Well, listen, there's got to be some directory somewhere where somebody can find that success story and say, here's a young lady. She was a stay-at-home mom. She was right. So find a story that you can relate to. And if that story doesn't exist, that's okay. You can be that story that's never existed before in that company. Right. However, just make sure they're legit stories. Right. Yep. That's all I would ask there. And then the last thing I would say for those who are looking for a direct sales company. So number one, believe in the product. Number two, Make sure you ask the right questions and make sure that they're real stories of real people who started from ground zero and have succeeded and weren't positioned at the top, and those are the only success stories. And then the third thing I would say, if you're looking for a direct selling company, is to make sure you have leadership. Right? There should be some mentorship, because there are two ways to learn. The most expensive way is all by yourself. Right? Because you're going to pay money you don't have to pay. You're going to spend time you don't have to spend. If you're learning from someone else who's already paid that kind of money, you can pay less, because you're learning from someone who's already spent $10,000. Maybe you only have to spend $1,000.
Yeah,
right?
I say the School of Hard Knocks is an excellent educator.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
So yes, you're still going to have to bump your head. You're still going to, you're going to have to go through what you go through, but find some leadership, right? And here's the thing. They don't even have to be your upline. The great thing is you just find people who are successful in that space, in that company, and say, let me find out when they're doing their presentations, YouTubes, whatever they're doing. And that's what I did, right? Yeah. Because my sponsor got started the same day I did, so he couldn't show me anything. But I sought after people who they weren't even in my money line, right? I just went to go learn from them, and I sat in the audience, and they were teaching. They didn't even know I wasn't on their team. I didn't care. I took notes. I'm like, okay, and I learned what not to do and what to do.
Yeah. That's it. I think that's awesome. And like I said, I know you have another call in a few minutes. Guys, would you guys put a 10 in the chat box if you think Darnell dropped some serious knowledge bombs on you today? Because honestly, I think that, Darnell, you blew everybody away. No, you did. Your authenticity, you're being honest and just going, hey, this is the real me. This is my story. I hope it blesses you guys. I hope that it inspires you to make a difference, because you got to believe in you. You got to believe in what you're doing and how. And I just love it. Michael says, actually, you got a 12 out of 10. I asked for a 10. He's giving you a 12. So, dude, you just totally rocked his world.
Sure. He's traveling with me from now on. I need him as my hype man to keep continuing to give me great grades.
I like that. Yeah. Okay. Pause. You got a new friend over here in Darnell. And people are quoting you in the chat box. 1% doubt and you're out. And I think, like I said, that you gave them not only inspiration, you gave them some quips. And let's face it, we know alliteration and we know things that rhyme, and those things make a difference, because when people when they get stuck and they're drowning in the depths of discouragement, if they can go 1% doubt and you're out, I got to focus. I got to focus right here. Darnell gave me a piece of advice, and his advice was my life preserver, not my anchor. I got to let the anchors go. I got to grab the life preserver, because we got to move forward, guys. And that's what we're trying to help you. And that's what the show and our sponsor, Neogenics, we're trying to help you recognize your internal value. Again, has nothing to do with your external circumstances. And Darnell, you have, like I said, you are a complete blessing. You have rocked our world. Let me just tell these guys who our next week's guest is, so they know. And then we're going to end the show. But you guys, up next, we have John Andrews from Photify. We're going to help you guys to do some social media posts and stuff that you can make instantly on your phone and create some hubbub. So we can end up making sure that you guys have the value that you're looking for. Remember, you guys, share this out. Let people know. Every week at 6 p.m. Pacific, we've got something here for you, a guest that's coming to deliver value. We're going to also do some other direct sales. The direct sales dirty dozen I'll be teaching you in a few weeks. So we appreciate you being here. We want to encourage you, motivate you, hit the share button, make sure you're here next time. And until next time, I want to remind you, like I always do, to dream it, believe it, and achieve it. Ciao. Darnell, say bye.